Thanks for joining us for the Member xCite presentation. The Member xCite presentation is informative, interesting to the audience, and showcases the strengths of the presenter as an entrepreneur and their area of expertise. It's not a sales pitch, it's a 10-minute educational and insightful exploration into what they do. And of course, it's exciting.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our xCite presenter today, Scott King from the Breakthrough Hub, to present to us on xTraordinary. Company culture is a mission, not a mandate. The impact of employee engagement or disengagement is a bottom line issue. Statistics show that unhappy workers cost the North American business economy well over $350 billion annually in lost productivity. Culture change can be achieved through top-down mandates. Learn a better way. Scott brings over 3 decades of real entrepreneurial experience to the BX community. With a background in business ownership, franchising, financial services, and of course, business coaching, every conversation you have with him will bring value. His latest endeavor, the Breakthrough Hub, was conceived the day after our world was instantly shut down. What started with a handful of growth-minded individuals meeting virtually has exploded into an international movement. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Scott King.
The reason I want to do that is I expect that some of you will be, but more importantly, as a member, we are going to have opportunities for one-to-ones. All right. And one-to-ones can increase your stock or decrease your stock. The other thing that we'll be able to apply as I'm sharing how to have effective one-to-ones, we've entered into this new world of being able to meet anyone almost anywhere in the world for a 30-minute Zoom meeting. And again, an opportunity to increase your stock, an opportunity to help people out. I have a saying that you never know where your good will come from when you get around good people. All right. And my experience is there's plenty of good people in the BX network around the world. Okay. Now, with that, because it's easy to get a meeting, it's also easy to waste someone's time. All right. Just because we have a meeting doesn't mean that we have an opportunity to take advantage of someone's calendar. All right. So I want to be careful not to be, too preachy here or anything like that. But I'm just passionate about, if we've got a half hour together, how to make the most of that. And here's what I've found. And some of you have heard of Parkinsons Law, which says that a project expands to the amount of time to complete it. Jamaica, you're nodding, yeah. So Parkinson's, now I've applied this to a meeting will expand to the amount of time available to complete it. So I rarely schedule more than 30 minutes for a one-to-one, in the fact that I know that we'll accomplish all we need to if we handle that half hour exceptionally well. All right, we're very intentional. And some things that I have found to work extremely well is, first of all, we set a time frame. So Kyle, if you were coming into a one-to-one, you'll hear me say, now Kyle, we've set aside a half hour. Are you good for the full half hour? And you would say, yeah. And I'd say, I'll keep an eye on that and make sure we get out on the hour. That already sets us apart from a lot of people who schedule a one-to-one and we start talking about the weather and all of that. And that's all fine, but set that time frame. Some of you have gone into a meeting and you have no idea when it's going to end and you start to get anxious. So let's put all of that anxiety to rest. I'll keep an eye and I'll get us out on the hour. Okay. For example, my talk today will be 3 hours and 23 minutes. I'm kidding. Okay. I'll get it out. And yeah, thank you, Steve. Someone just left. Oh my gosh. I just all right. From there, we have to have the right mindset, which is a giving mindset. How can I add value? One of our core values at the Breakthrough Hub is that we add value everywhere all the time. And when we're coming into a one-to-one, people really can sense, it's scientifically proven, they can sense your intent. So if I intend to add value to you, there's a much better chance that you're going to enjoy a half hour with me. Okay. So giver's mindset, add value everywhere all the time. Ask, who can I introduce this person to? What problem can I help them solve? What can I learn that will make it easier to refer this person to the great connection? I love at BX, what we're looking for is momentum partners. We're not looking for transactional type business. I'm looking for people that I can blow their business up, because I simply am dealing with all day, all long, people who would want to know what Jana talked about, how to 10x the value of their business. And it's not what they had expected. So I'm running into people like, boom, Jana, referring. Okay. So the only way that I'd be able to do that is to earn her trust and her earn my trust through an effective one-to-one. Because guys, the question is, if I'm going to refer someone, what am I putting at risk? And if someone wants to unmute, if I'm going to refer you, what am I putting at risk? Anybody want to take a shot at what's at risk when we refer someone? Come on, guys, you can come on. You can't just have
your reputation.
Reputation.
Thank you, Shamika. Our reputation. Steve, what were you? Is that what you were going to say?
Same thing. It was so good. You got to say it twice. Reputation.
There you go. All right. So if we're going to put our reputation on the line and make a referral, let's make sure we understand who that person is, what they're passionate about, and that they truly will bring value to that introduction. Okay. Come prepared with questions. And where are we going to get those? If I've never met Garrett, I'm thinking, well, maybe he's on LinkedIn. So I'm going to have a quick look through LinkedIn. Maybe I'm going to find his website, and I'm going to take 5 minutes, not an hour, 5 minutes to prepare. Say, well, that's interesting. I noticed on your LinkedIn page that you are connected to so-and-so. How do you know that person? That's a really cool way to start a conversation, especially when someone's in Australia and I'm in Alberta, Canada. And we find out, oh my goodness, we're related. All right. So from here, do your research and prepare with some questions. You may not need them. You may not use them, but we don't rise to the occasion. We fall to the level of our preparation. And I found that applies to so many things, but coming into a highly effective one-to-one, we don't rise to the occasion. We don't wing it. We fall to the level of our preparation. All right. So Steve, if I had the privilege of a half hour with you, I am not going to come in unprepared, because that's a half hour of your life and my life that we can't get back. And there may be an opportunity to change someone's life by introducing someone to Mr. Hughes. I've never met the man, but I feel a connection, and I already know, but I wouldn't want to waste his time if I'm not for being prepared. Thank you. All right. When we start, I'm going to come back up to the meeting, the beginning of the meeting. And I remember I said, Kyle, how long have you set aside for a meeting? Or we've got a half hour. Are you good for the full half hour? He says, yes. Now, here's the next question that I have found to be highly, highly effective, which is, Kyle, what are you hoping to get out of our half hour? Because I want to make sure that I deliver on that and I don't make any assumptions. You picking this up? You don't have to answer, but you can, Kyle.
Should I answer like, well, I was hoping that we would do it over lunch and I get lunch out of it, but
well, Kyle, you just get on a plane. It's 8 degrees here in Alberta, and I don't know what it is in California, but it's awesome here. So you come on.
I'll be like 15 degrees higher.
You get it? So let me just repeat that. We set our time frame. What are you hoping to get out of our time? I want to make sure that I deliver on that, and I don't want to make any assumptions. And folks, it's amazing what can happen when you ask that question, because you may be thinking they want to talk about it and they just come out of left field on something. They're like, I've studied the Breakthrough Hub. I know so-and-so. I want to know how to be a part of the breakthrough year. It's like, wow, I wasn't expecting that to be what you wanted to get out of our one-to-one. However, I'm happy to deliver on that. But most importantly, generally, I want to be here to learn about you. All right. I always want to lead. It would be, we can talk about the Breakthrough Hub maybe next time, and I'd love to book a second follow-up. But today, Kyle, I'd really love to hear about you and your business. Is that okay? Right? And just flip it around. And that can be, again, I'm not into this. I'm not doing a one-to-one for a transaction. I'm doing a one-to-one because I feel like there could be a momentum partner, a relationship, or someone that Kyle can help that I know. All right. As I wrap up, another great question as we're, is how can I support you? Is there anything that you think that I could do to support you? Nice question to ask. And then lastly, to have that half hour and not have some sort of committed action and summarize it. Again, why did we do it? So because I'm coming in looking to add value, it's amazing that I will find an opportunity, and it'll be something like this. So Steve, my commitment to you is to introduce you to a lawyer in Toronto, Canada. His name is John. Is a LinkedIn connection okay? And you say, yeah, that would be perfect. So I'll put you two together, and away we go. That's the committed action. I say it, and then folks, again, your stock will go up or your stock will go down based on your follow through. Okay, say we have this great one-to-one. I've done everything that we talked about. You say, man, that was really worthwhile. That half hour was awesome. And then I give a committed action and I don't follow through. All my credibility goes down the drain. Now you're busy, I'm busy. So what I have found is that I always have 15-minute margin on either side of my meetings so that I can then execute on any promises I have made in that one-to-one. All right, that puts the bow on it, the cherry on the top. It's like, wow, that was a great one-to-one. Look at that, he already did it. He's already done that connection. And what will happen is your trust in referring me, we're not doing this to be self-serving. However, there are benefits of excellence, all right? Through that, you will feel comfortable to introduce me to someone knowing that I won't waste their time, that I will want to add value, and that I'm a professional because I do what I said I was going to do. All right. So with that, again, we're a small group. I would love to hear if you have any questions, anything that you disagree with. I love it when someone says to me, Scott, I disagree with you. I get excited because I'm about to learn something. So if there's something you don't agree with, by all means, let's talk it through. Or perhaps I said something that you especially appreciated. Let's learn. This is kind of like what we call a hub environment with such a intimate group. Anybody want to unmute and just share what they appreciated about what I talked about, ask any questions, or stump the chump? I
don't have a question, but I just want to say that it was a great presentation by Scott. Thanks for filling in on the spur of the moment.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Really appreciated that you started the conversation when you're talking about your 30 minutes with saying, what do you want to get out of this meeting? Because I think that is so important. Many times people will come in with a preconceived idea. They go with their presentation and then at the end, the people are going, well, that's not what we wanted. And so I think that's so important to find out what people need and want first before you start the discussion so that you can amend it to make sure you do meet everything that they want to discuss during that meeting. And I love that you added the 15 minutes on either side of the 30 minutes for the prep and follow through. I am notorious for booking back to back to back Zooms. And then by the end of the day, I'm like, I didn't get anything done. So I love that. And that's something that I've been trying to do. I'm not very successful at it, but this is a good reminder for me that I need to start doing that.
Amazing. I think Scott might have just dropped out briefly. Does anyone else have any questions or comments on his presentation that he just did?
Well, I will share it with him direct, but Scott and I have had a one-to-one after we first met on BX about a month ago. And I really love the integrity of what he's speaking about. I relate to what you were just sharing, Jana, about having that buffer before and after to prepare, to follow up, and how important that is. And also that extra 15 minutes allows for you to dig deeper with the person if you do need that more than 30 minutes, which is exactly what happened when Scott and I did get together. It's like 30 minutes wasn't enough. There was more to explore. So it's good planning to have that buffer either side, and it can allow for, a further deep dive. So that was an excellent way. We're all talking about how wonderful your presentation was, Scott, and we're glad to see you back in the room.
Thank you.
And I liked, personally, I'm glad you mentioned me, but really to mention anyone in the group, you kind of personalized it versus, a random person over here. You kind of invited us to participate just by using an example from here. And then I think it was you who mentioned, I did not know you could grab the chat, or whoever said grab the chat. Because actually I was in a meeting yesterday and I had like 12 prospects in there that I thought the host was recording. They weren't. And I would love to have grabbed the chat. But anyway, that's my other little takeaway.
Fantastic. Well, I left you guys alone. It sounds like we did well. Does anybody else, we've got a little bit more time. Does anybody else want to comment or ask a question? Are we?
Yeah, I think I really love what you said about making assumptions. I was reading a story this morning about a guy who was selling pools, and the prospect was like, oh, does the property, it was a real estate agent, does the property have pool? And the sales agent went on and on about the pool. And then when the sales agent stopped talking, the buyer said, well, you know what, I have kids and I don't really want a pool. So like when you're going into these conversations,
Seriously,
it's really important not to make any assumptions. And I love that you said that.
well done, Shamika. That's so good. My wife is lovely, beautiful every way. And I walk onto a car dealership. I'm all dressed up. She looks great. And the guy says, have I got a car for you too? Right. And he brings us over. It's this red convertible, just like, wow. And my wife, and he's going off. And my wife says, okay, so where should we put our 4 kids and 3 dogs? Do you think we bought a car off this guy that made assumptions and figured that, I want something that'll corner on wheels or on tracks or whatever the heck he said? Again, so good. I'm glad you picked that up, Shamika. It's amazing what we can get out of things. And then asking the question, pool, does it have pool? Well, what would you like to know specifically? That's a really good question too. What would you like to know specifically about pools? I'd like to know that there isn't any because I hate pools and I'm allergic to water. Okay, well, and then we can cut this short because this has a pool, but I have another property that doesn't. Very, very good.